Okay, let's talk about what we can do with just the few notes that we've learned so far. We've actually learned 5. We've learned 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we learned the 7 right below the 1. And it occurred to me that we could really get into improv now. And I've had lots of ideas about how, we could have a backing track. I could show you some examples. I'll talk about more things you can do, but these ideas are forming. So right now, I'm just going to give you some preliminary suggestions, I guess, and then I'll provide more help as time goes by. And what I'm going to say about improvising with the notes that we've learned so far, some of you are, of course, at a higher level. Some of you will be able to take the ball and run with it. Some of you probably already have taken the ball and run with it. And then some of you might listen to what I'm about to say about improv, and you might try it and just not feel comfortable with it. And that's another whole lesson about improv and about how it's, especially when we're brand new at it, we have to, be audacious. And we also have to, that's another whole lesson. I'm not going to go into it, but I'm going to provide some suggestions that will work really well for some of you. And if they don't work well for you, I want you to know that I'm also going to provide instruction to help you get to the point where these suggestions will work well for you. So my main point is just don't worry about anything, but do listen to what I say about improv, even if you're very, very beginner, because I want you to know, I guess, what the possibilities are and where you will be in a very short period of time. Playing these exercises will help get you there. Okay, so what we can do with so I'm going to do, for those of you who are ready, I'm going to talk a little about improv and what we can do with 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe the 7 that we learned, and a lot of fun things we can do with improv. And then I'm also going to be making some play along. I've given you lessons about all the exercises so far, but and there will be lessons about 151, 161, and so on. And I'm also going to record just play along, where I don't talk a whole lot and we just play from the lowest place possible, each exercise, so you can play along. And that'll be good for those of you who don't feel quite ready if my improv suggestions don't work out so well for you. Okay, so improv. I think it's important to start with just a few notes, and that's exactly where we are. So let's just focus on the few notes that we have. One thing that I think is awesome for everybody is just play the radio or Spotify or whatever it is that you listen to music on. Get it in the style that you love. Something really simple, not just something that sounds simple. You could try it with any song, and just no matter how far along you are, see if you can find a note. Make sure your guitar is in tune. Use your tuner. You should know that some of the older recordings might not be in tune with your tuner. But if it's most recordings, and pretty much all recent recordings will be in tune with your tuner, see if you can find a few notes that resonate with the song. You might just find the one, or you might not know that it's the one, but just see if you can find some notes that often sound good as the song plays by. If you're able to figure out where the one is, and if you don't know, you can just guess. If it's something folky, simple, country, really good chance it's going to be G or C. So those are a good place to start. If you can figure out where one is, then play around with 1, 2, 3 and see how it sounds. If you play a note You don't like the way it sounds? Play it again. There's a couple things you can do. Keep playing that note until then eventually the song will change and it'll make your note sound good. That's really cool when that happens. Sometimes you'll play a note and you might not like the way it sounds at first, but just bear with that note. It might sound good in a minute. Or play the note again and then change notes. That works too. But you're always just 1 or 2 frets away from a note that sounds really good. So chances are you're going to hit some notes that sound good. You could read the music lesson by, it'll come to me. Victor Wooten is really good for the philosophical part, but let's just focus on the 3 notes. You can get a lot of music out of just these 3 notes. Another thing is you could write your own licks, your own little song. One of my favorite licks goes like this. I'm trying to, let's see. Okay, there we go. And that goes really good in the key of G. Let me show you, we all know this is a G. And that what I just played was 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. You can vary it to make it work with different fingerings. I picked each note that time. I slid. This is a G, open 3rd string. So if this is my 1, open 3rd string, 2nd fret on the same string will be 2, 3 is going to be a whole step higher. And I played basically, by the way, I'm playing with a flat pick, and I go, make sure you can see what my pick is doing. There we go. Ba, 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 ba. See how it's very, I don't go ba, 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 ba. It's down, up, down. Oh, make sure you can see it. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. I like that one when the song is going back to G at the end of a... That's a different one we haven't learned. There it is again, 3, 2, 1. So there was a whole little phrase, and almost all of them were. This one I'll save for later. I'll throw it to you in case you want to learn it. But I'm not gonna explain it. And then this one I just showed you, fingering. That's the finger I'm using because then it's easy to go like that. If you want to get a little bit more fancy, use 2 fingers. Well, use the middle finger on the 2. Make a 3rd. This is a minor 3rd right here, but don't worry about that. Make the 3rd shape. It doesn't sound as good going slow. So sometimes I'll do that at the end of that phrase. So the point is, that's just 3, 2, 1. So there's a lick. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. And you could play that lick through the circle of fourths. If you know any other licks, if you know any other melodies you love, you can play those through the circle of fourths. But let's go back to what we were talking about, how we can take our 3 notes that we know and do some things to begin to improvise. And like I said, I'm going to develop these ideas and give you more. I just didn't want to wait. I wanted to give you a chance to get started. So you could listen to a song that you like and play around with your 1, 2, 3 in some familiar places. And some of those notes are going to sound okay. And you might settle into a spot that you think is the key that the song is in. And play around with 1, 3, 2, 1. It doesn't have to sound just like the song. It could be simple. It can just be 2 and 1. Let me see if I can play. I'll try to play a backing track and 1, 2, 1. Okay, so remember 1, 2, 1? That's a C. Well, this is also a C. Trying to figure out how to get past. There we go. This is C, 1, 2, 1. I'm in the key of C. This is a root on the C chord, so is that. I'm gonna try. So I'm just playing my 1 chord. It's a C chord. There's another idea. You could record and it doesn't have to be fancy finger picking. It could be just C. You can just play 2 notes. And then when you get tired of those 2, you can go on to another one. What else can I say about improvising with the notes we have? Let's see, I showed you that. Instead of playing 4, whenever you're on 3, because 3 to 4 is just a half step, that's a good time to bend. Instead of playing, you can play. And the way we bend is, this is the finger that's really fretting, but you put fingers down behind it and use the strength of all 3 fingers. I'm at the point where I still have to, and here's the other thing. I still have to practice to bend to the right point. You don't just bend indiscriminately. Listen to this. I want it to sound like that when I bend. That time I got it. You could always, not always, but often when you're on 3, you can bend to get your 4. I think that's a start. And like I say, I will be developing some ideas for improv using what we've learned so far, because you don't have to learn a lot more to start improvising. And if those ideas don't work for you yet, take heart. I'm also going to provide lessons that get you to the point where they do work. And I'll be making some play-along exercises along with the other lessons, introducing the new intervals. So I will talk to you later. Bye.